What's up, you guys? This is JJ back with another video. And in this video today, if you saw the title, if you saw the thumbnail, then you already know what we're discussing. The Los Angeles Lakers. I've kind of really been putting off making a video of the Lakers now for some time. But now, today is that day. And well, if we want to get things started off out of the gate, I'm going to go ahead and start about the head coaching situation for the Lakers, because as we all know, since LeBron has played for the Lakers, they've had several head coaches during his time there, which kind of just shows you the lack of stability that this franchise in this way has. And they go out this season and they basically put a bet on JJ Redick, a guy that, as you all know, who is a great basketball analyst. If you see his podcast, if you've seen his YouTube channel, everything, you already know that this guy is very knowledgeable on the game of basketball. If you've seen the podcast with him, LeBron James, then you already know that this guy has the ability to really articulate basketball plays and knowledge in a way that is easy for the average consumer to understand. There is obviously a big risk because this guy, he's not even had any college experience, let alone pro experience at all. The only experience he's had, I believe, is coaching his sons or whatever basketball team, like a kids team. But hey, transitioning to the NBA, that's going to be definitely a big, huge step. But luckily enough for him, on his staff, he does have Nate McMillan, who is a very well-respected head coach around the NBA. And you got Scott Brooks, who's another very well-respected coach around the NBA that has great experience because he was that coach that time that took the Oklahoma City Thunder when they had James Harden, Kevin Durant, and Russell Westbrook all to the NBA Finals that year against the Miami Heat back in 2011, 2012. So the man has some pretty good additions to really help him for this up-and-coming NBA season. And it's really going to be interesting to see what all changes are going to happen, because one thing the Lakers haven't really had was stability when it comes to head coaching position. We have to really see how this plays out for him, because the pressure is really going to be on him tremendously. As a matter of fact, just speaking of this team alone, there's just so much pressure to it, because not only now that you have JJ Redick as your coach, but now they go in the NBA draft and they sign Bronny James Jr. This, of course, being the first ever father and son duo to play together in NBA history, something that we've never seen happen before. Looking at Bronny in the Summer League, well, he didn't really play that bad towards the end. Yes, he had his stretch of pretty bad games, but overall he did show some promising potential, and at his best, maybe he can work himself up one day to be a player similar to a Drew Holiday type of build. Still, adding LeBron James Jr. on this team, especially with his father, LeBron James, this guy playing for LeBron comes with a lot of baggage, because you are going to be scrutinized pretty much for any bad thing you do on this team. Let's not forget D'Angelo Russell, for crying out loud. A great example of a guy that was scrutinized heavily for his bad play. Even Darvin Ham, the own head coach, was scrutinized heavily. So in many ways, shape, or forms, it's hard playing for a LeBron-led team. And this is another great example from Tyronn Lue when he was on JJ Redick's podcast, I believe, and he discussed that reality is. Let me roll that clip.
I was scared because, I think just all the scrutiny, that follows, LeBron's teams, and coming in halfway through the season where Coach Black did a great job the year before. We went to the finals, and then the year I took over, we was number one in the East when they fired him, and so just a lot of pressure in that regard. And so I was scared. I thought I was ready to be a head coach, but until you actually slide over a chair and actually experience it, you never know.
Outside of just the general sort of scrutiny and attention and fanfare and media attention and all that stuff that comes with coaching LeBron or being part of LeBron's team, was there anything that sort of surprised you that you could not have prepared for? All the other shit you have to do as a head coach that you just were completely unaware of? One of those, like, you don't know until you know type things?
I hate the media. I mean, that was the biggest thing for me. And
we're part of the media.
No, not hate y'all personally, just hated doing it. I just it wasn't my thing just to be in front of the cameras and talking, and so I hated doing that after every game. And then when you get to the playoffs, I mean, it's 7 times a day. You got shooting around media, you got the the guys that come in, John Barry them come in before that. You got pregame, you got end of third quarter or first quarter, depending on if you're home or away. You got the post game. It's just so much stuff you got to do and be able to handle. And so with LeBron's teams, they always looking for one little thing to try to make a story out of it. So you got to be very careful. And
so as you see, this is just another great example. But continue on with the Lakers in their lottery. Another great draft pick that they selected in this NBA draft was Dalton Knecht. Many people really consider one of the steals of the NBA draft because, well, he is exactly what the Lakers needed. They needed a guy who could create their own shot and who can make threes at an efficient rate, and that's something that he can do and provide for the team. And another great benefit to him is that he is more polished, and I say that because, well, most guys who come out of college and they're around 23 years old, they're much older, they are automatically going to be able to contribute a lot more to an NBA team in comparison to a 19-year-old who still has a lot more room to grow and actually develop their game. I really wouldn't be surprised if he is playing some pretty key minutes for this Lakers team in this next upcoming NBA season. But really, other than this, the Lakers haven't really done anything free agency. We all know they could have possibly acquired Klay Thompson on that team, but he decided to go on to the Dallas Mavericks. And I believe that a lot of this does play into what I said earlier on playing with LeBron comes with developing a lot of baggage, because you are going to be under the spotlight so much more than at any point of your NBA career. And well, looking at where the direction is going now for the Lakers, really, as LeBron is still playing, still at the high level, he's still regarded as one of the best players in basketball today. And he has Anthony Davis, who's been playing really well. Both these guys have been playing pretty well in the Olympics alone. It's really going to be a hit or miss for them next season because, well, just as good as the Lakers are, the reality is that the competition out in the Western Conference, man, it's loaded. Not only do you have a young and developing Houston Rockets team that is still emerging and they can possibly acquire a big-name free agent next season, Sacramento Kings, you have the New Orleans Pelicans, you have the Minnesota Timberwolves, you have the Denver Nuggets, you have the Oklahoma City Thunder. For crying out loud, you have so many teams. Even the Phoenix Suns, they got better as well in the offseason. So for the Lakers, it's just really, they are more now in a desperate situation to win because they don't really have all the pieces, I believe, that you really need to win an NBA championship. Because, well, you lost Taurean Prince in free agency, which I believe was a pretty big blow because he was one of your key shooters on this team, and he goes to Milwaukee. And now for this Lakers team, all you really hear is rumors about them possibly getting Jeremy Grant or Larry Martin, because you already know that they are going to want to acquire the most talent that they can possibly get on this team. But I really believe that the chances of them getting any of those guys are slim to none. And even if you sign Jeremy Grant to your roster, I really don't think that's going to really put the Lakers over the hump. And the reality is, too, as great as LeBron James is, and we all know that even now, going into year 22, he's still one of the best players in the league, and you can still build a championship level roster around him. He's not that LeBron anymore that can carry a team that is just average to an NBA Finals. Those days are gone. Anthony Davis last year in the playoffs played amazing, and all you can really hope is that how far he goes is how far this team will go. In addition to, we all know how great LeBron's going to play, but a lot of it does play into how Anthony Davis will play. And we have to see as well the coaching adjustments and things that JJ Redick does to this roster. Now, I do like the additions of Dalton. I think that is going to be a great fit for this team because of his shooting and his shot creation. And you add that along with another guy, Austin Reeves, who can pretty much do the exact same thing. I think that JJ Redick can possibly unlock new levels to this Lakers team in that way. So there is some potential for them. But the reality is still, when you look at the Western Conference as a whole, as I mentioned earlier, all the teams that are out there, the West is a combination of great young teams and veteran teams that are still really good. Like, it's insane of the level of competition there is. So it's really going to be a bloodbath for any team that can actually make it out alive with the Western Conference. These aren't the glory days anymore for LeBron being out in the East and just cruising his way to an NBA Finals. It's a totally different beast now in this Western Conference. The reality is for the Lakers that the key word is going to be used a lot this up-and-coming NBA season for them is pressure, because you have to deal with the fact that LeBron is getting older and he's not really going to be playing much longer, so your window to win an NBA championship is very, very, very short. Not to mention having his son on the team, hiring JJ Redick, a guy who's had no NBA experience, hiring him on this team and seeing what he can possibly do. And just LeBron James himself, man, because LeBron is a very polarizing basketball player. And as great as he is and all the acknowledgement and praise that we give him, the reality is that playing for a guy like him is not easy.